What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another collaboration with our brother here. Go ahead and give yourselves a round of applause for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe to the bell. But I'm here with the brother. I'm gonna let you explain what this channel is about. Go ahead, family.
It's your man BMT in the building, Black Man Travels. We are brothers exploring the world, expanding our options around the globe. So we talk about traveling, and that's our main, niche is travel.
All right, give him a round of applause for being here also. And me and you have done some really, really powerful videos together. Some videos that got a lot of views, especially when it comes to topics about Colombia, Brazil, and the black male travel sector. I'm in the black manosphere, the travel bros, because y'all are in the black manosphere community, just specializing in that niche. That community has, I believe, that I've seen the most growth in the whole, manosphere community outside of maybe, the dating coach guys. But you guys are doing an excellent job, and I see a lot of brothers are typically in a few countries, Dominican Republic. I see them in Colombia. I see Brazil, but now I do see there's some brothers out there in like the Philippines. I see brothers in Thailand. So today we're going to try to solve the question: what country is the best place for black men for relocation overall? So where can we start with that, brother?
All right, so it really depends on your situation. Like if you're retired, if you're a digital nomad, that really matters the most of how you're obtaining your resources overseas. For example, I would say if you're retired, you can pretty much pick any one of the countries you just mentioned and enjoy yourself, have a good time. But if you're digital nomad, then you're gonna be on the internet. You might be need more data. I would suggest Thailand or Colombia, where the internet speed is like 5G or faster. So it really depends on your situation. But for me personally, the best country for black men to relocate in general, I would say if it's not time and distance being a problem, if you don't have an issue working nighttime, I would probably say Thailand.
Okay. Why Thailand?
Okay, with Thailand, I would say that particularly because of the visa situation. In Colombia, you have 6 months max to live in Colombia. In Brazil, you have 6 months max. Now, DR, there's no visa. You can stay in the DR as long as you want. A lot of guys want to be a little bit further because the Dominican Republic has a lot of American influence, because of that. So I would suggest Thailand because you can pay monthly for your visa. Every month you have to, get a stamp, there's thing you stay. Sometimes you can do 60-day stays. You can do border runs to go to Cambodia or Vietnam, come right back. So that's why I would mention Thailand for more of a long term. Now, if you do want to just do everything legitimately, you get a visa, then you can work out different things with you can get a lawyer in Colombia, and you get a certain type of visa to stay there longer. I believe Brazil has digital nomad visa as well.
Oh, okay. So they have digital nomad visas now.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about because a lot of brothers is not. I've heard you about the first. You and Zoom to Thailand. Y'all been the first brothers that I've seen that's really been in the Thailand thing. But at first it was everybody was really flocking to Brazil, and you lived in Brazil. Why is Thailand, in your opinion, better than Brazil?
Man, specifically because of the infrastructure when it comes to apartments, right? In Brazil, a lot of the apartments are a little dated. A lot of the electronics are not up to par that Americans are used to. Like as far as an American type of living that we're comfortable with, Brazil would be somewhat difficult unless you like the right neighborhood, the right area. Maybe even Barra da Tijuca, the apartments are a little bit more up to date there. But in Brazil, the biggest issue is you're paying a good amount of money in most cases. In Copacabana area, Ipanema area, right? You're paying $700, $800, maybe even $900 a month for an apartment that was built in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So you're gonna have a lot of issues with the installation and Your electronics, the wattage is low, so that might damage your electronics. The internet is not the greatest. A lot of them have shared Wi-Fi, which means instead of you having your own router, you're sharing it with everybody, which causes all types of problems. So I picked Thailand because of the infrastructure is a little bit better. Like you got 5G in Thailand, you got super fast internet, you got your own router, and the cost of living is in most cases much lower here in Thailand than it is in Brazil. So that's why I would say Thailand and Brazil.
Okay, now again, let's look at Colombia, because Colombia, you stayed there. I know you love Colombia.
I love Colombia.
Colombia seemed to have a pretty good infrastructure too, from what you told me, especially Medellin. Seems they've cleaned the city up to. I mean, I know there's some issues still there, but it seems to be pretty affordable, clean city, good transportation. How does Colombia compare to Thailand?
Okay, so the main thing about Colombia is not the safest country, right? Like Colombia, you have to move a certain way. You have to move within a familiar circle. That's like the best way to move in Colombia, meaning you're going out with family and friends, people that know you, that look out for you, kind of watching each other's backs. In certain cases, you're not going to be walking around at night downtown in Colombia and Central. You got to watch your drinks. You got to constantly, be aware of, your surroundings, because Colombia can be very dangerous. It can be one of the most dangerous countries in the world, So a lot of people have bad stories in Colombia versus in Thailand, because of the culture, it's very safe. You can leave your phone somewhere and it still be there. It's just you can walk around at night, 3, 4 in the morning. The environment is much safer. The mentality of people is much different than it is in South America. So that's the main difference.
Okay, so that's the main difference. So let's talk about something that the brothers want to talk about. We know because we know what you brothers are talking about, right? What about the dating? Because obviously, with the Dominican Republic, Colombia, I would say DR. Some of those ladies could look very similar to black women if they're not black themselves. Right. And obviously, you have a lot of mulatto ladies or mixed or stuff like that. But obviously, Thailand is a completely different flavor. What do you think as far as the variety of women you can have? What do you think is going to be better in as far as communicating with women in English or in different languages? What's going to be the advantage to these countries in comparisons?
Well, that's another advantage that Thailand has. They speak English here. They speak what they call Thai English, but you can understand it. So they're not speaking English super fluently, but you can communicate much easier than you would be in Colombia, where nothing but Spanish is spoken. So that's another big advantage here in Thailand, is the fact that you can communicate with the women here. What was the other question you said? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, but okay, so. But what about what they look like though? Because some brothers they got like that curve in the back, brother. In the back, brother.
This is the craziest part ever. This is the most interesting thing that I did not know until I got to Thailand. They have women here that are melanated. Let's just put it that way, right? It's funny because I had a lady friend over here a couple of nights ago, and we were watching a Thai movie, and I saw a black person who we consider to be a black person. I said, "Oh wow, that's a black person. That's a black person." He said, "No, baby, it's not black like you. That's black Asian." See, I didn't even know there was black Asians. So you do have women out here that have melanin. They're darker than me in some cases, and they got a nice little curve on them, bro. They here, So yeah, you got Asian with a little body out here, man. You will be surprised. You will be pleasantly surprised until you gotta spend some time out here, though. It's not like the DR. Because the Dominican Republic, women got curves in the Dominican Republic. That's probably the best, for me, one of the best body types that you're going to get, will be the DR. Colombia, they're really pretty, very in shape, very petite, small. Brazil, super in shape. Thailand, they're very in shape as well. But, you would definitely get some Asian women that got a little body on them, but you would be surprised. Trust me, you would be pleasantly surprised out here.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because at first, when you were, thinking about to Thailand, was you worried about like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna see what I'm gonna like,
Bro,
or
when I
things
first,
like.
believe it or not, when I first kind of got out here, I was, moving around some go-go bars. So people were taking me around different spots, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, I'm good. But as I spent more time out here, I'm like, oh damn, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like now you see, like, okay, they out here. So, it depends on like the time. It's not like one area where you can go in Thailand and all the women, they got fat booties and nothing like that. But yeah, they out here, bro. It's out here. You'll find it. You'll find whatever you're looking for out here. Put it that way.
Okay.
Whatever, they have all flavors out here. They have all body types out here. Meaning,
Okay.
they got women that are, like white, you consider white, Asian, very, light complected. But you got women out here that are very dark, like Wesley Snipes dark out here. You got women that are skinny out here, though. You got women that got nice curves out here as well. You got women that where they consider to be overweight, we consider to be thick. So
okay.
It's out here, bro. It's out here.
Okay, so what about like the whole? Because I know one thing about like living overseas. Because I lived in Uganda for a minute, and one thing they do speak English, and the expat community is kind of vibrant there. So you can kind of there's American style restaurants and things. You can kind of be a part of that community and do things. When I was in Brazil in 2018, I actually we talked on the phone. I felt like that nobody really speak English out here. It's like 99% Portuguese. I kind of felt like a little bit out of place and things like that. But as far as dealing with, maybe meet other people from the United States, and meeting people from all across the world that you might be able to make friends with. How does Thailand fit into that kind of support system of a community that black men can come out there and meet people from all across the world that that speak English and stuff like that?
Believe it or not, man. Here there's not a lot of us here. Like, we're a small percentage here. And then, you might think you might be talking to a black man, but he might be from Africa or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, same group but different cultures, right? Most Africans are still going to hang with the Africans and whatnot. I would say the best camaraderie is probably going to be the DR, believe it or not, where you can just kind of plug and play, hop down, go into a city and then just be black men everywhere speaking English, and then American black men. I would put DR be first. And after that, I would pick Colombia. You definitely run into a lot of black Americans in Colombia as well. So in Thailand, it's more or less, it's such an international city. You're gonna be dealing with Europeans, Middle East, people from Middle Eastern. I went out with some people from Turkey a couple of nights ago. So we're dealing with all types of different cultures here. And it's very interesting, man, because you will find out a lot of information. You will find out that it's not one ethnic group on the planet that's just put together like that. You know what I'm saying? They got ratchet white dudes, ratchet Indian dudes, right, dudes in every ethnic group. So I want to put that out there. Like, it's not only just black men. Like, you got some dustness. It's dustness all around. I've seen European dudes get sloppy drunk out here, get thrown out of clubs. I've seen, Indian guys throw money. So people gonna be people, basically, no matter where they from.
Okay. Now, let me kind of move this back. Now, let me kind of talk about, obviously for brothers that might be a little bit more, business minded or business oriented. We talked about that a little bit. You talked to me about some brothers that was doing some things at Medellin, and some brothers had restaurants. I mean, because you interviewed them on some of your channels, and like I do certain things in East Africa as far as entrepreneur wise. But out of those countries that would give an African American, let's say if that person is looking to get into maybe the economy, or maybe into like the freelance economy or something like that, or maybe you already have an industry, you might want to relocate. But let's say if you want to do some business, which out of those 4 countries you think give you the best opportunity to do some business in that country as a foreigner?
Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic would probably be the best country to do business in. Brazil has a lot of red tape. I've heard a lot of horror stories about Brazil. Brazil has their own little system of kind of, taking advantage of Americans, business people. Thailand, that's a lot of good laws for Thailand. You can own your business 100% here in Thailand as well, from what I know. It's a couple of brothers that own bars out here as well. But, like I said, the distance is very far, and you're dealing with a different time zone. You're 12 hours ahead of the States. So DR, you're close to America. If anything hit the fan, you can, go back to America. You're in the same similar time zone. I would say Dominican Republic is probably one of the better places because you can target more so, depending on what your business is, But I'm just going to say, assume that's the tourist-based business. You can get Americans coming out, like weekend warriors coming out, every few times a year, versus in Thailand, guys might come out here once a year because it's so far.
Oh, okay. It's expensive probably too to come way out there.
Exactly. Now in Colombia, I would say that's in the middle. But in Colombia, I'll just put it this way: depending on what business it is, you might have to deal with certain things and certain groups of people that you might not want to deal with. I'll just put that way.
Okay. So then let me talk about this, right? Brothers want to know about the treatment of the ladies, because I think you're telling me that you had some positive experiences in Brazil, some positive experiences in Colombia and in Thailand. Now, on average, as far as finding somebody that has the wifey material, that's a little bit more culture to be in a serious relationship. What country do you feel in that specific instant is going to be the best place for an African American brother to want to be in if he's looking for a little bit something of a long-term relationship?
As far as long-term relationships, I would say Colombia and Thailand. I would say Colombia and Thailand would be the best countries to look forward to long-term relationships, hands down.
Okay, why is that?
The culture. It's basically their culture to follow a man's program to a certain degree. And believe it or not, Colombia and Thailand are way different than each other, like so different, polar opposite of each other. But from my personal experience, and I've had relationships in both countries, I would say that, Colombian women, they love being in relationships. They love romance. They love being with a man. They're very fiery. They're very passionate. It's a beautiful thing. They keep you on your toes. They're very beautiful. Thailand, women are very laid back. They're very feminine, very submissive. Probably the most feminine women on the planet, in my hands down. And the dangerous part about Thai women is they can really cook. So that might be an issue because you reach a man through his stomach. So Thai women boy, they throw down in that kitchen, man. If they don't know it, they'll learn it. They know how to. Yeah, they really can cook. They can cook better than, believe it or not, from my experience, I'm just keeping them above 50. They can cook better than South American women. But not Dominican women. Dominican women can throw down too. So Dominican, Thailand women, as far as the food, that's going to be the highest tier right there.
Now, you got to pick one, though.
Okay.
Thailand or Brazil? Which one? You only get one.
But what we're talking about, as far as living,
for relationships. As far as relationships.
Thailand all day.
Thailand over Colombia. Now, why is Thailand better than Colombia?
I thought you said Brazil.
Thailand over Colombia. You got to pick one out of Thailand and Colombia. Which one is going to be best?
Colombia. Colombia would be best.
Colombia is better than Thailand. But you think overall, so let me just make sure I understand this. Overall, you feel like it's better for black men to be in Thailand than Colombia, but you do feel, because of the infrastructure and the other stuff like that, but you do feel that Colombia will give you a better relationship than Thailand. Why is that?
How do I say this in a roundabout way? I like Afro, man. I like Afro women, man. I like, Afro-Latina women. So that's kind of the reason I would generally be in a country where I could date black women, Afro-Latino black women. So yeah, that's why I would choose that, because at the end of the day, that's who I would want to be with long term, more so.
Okay, and that's just like a preference, but it's not like the treatment thing. The treatment is
Yeah.
okay. So the Thai woman.
Be honest with you, bro. I feel like every black man should experience the treatment that he would get from an Asian woman. You know what I'm saying? Like the treatment is subpar to none. It's subpar to none, bro. Like they treat you really well out here. Yeah, they treat you really well.
Okay. And it's coming from a brother. I mean, I don't know you might be mentioning this, but you know, your brother that likes the black community, like me, and you know, you want to be with a black woman, but it's like when you experience that kind of treatment, it does make you like. It makes you think and challenge some of the things. Why does it make you challenge some of the ideologies that you may have after experiencing that?
I feel like, you know, the treatment that they give you is probably reminiscent of the treatment we got before we were colonized. You know, like just that masculine male energy, you know, that you have, and it's being fed by a woman. You know, it's just a beautiful thing, man. Like you don't want for nothing. Like they let you be. They allow you to be in your masculine frame without issues, basically. It's the best way I can put it. You know, it's like they're feminine, man. They submit. You know, they do their thing, you do your thing. Y'all work together for a strong family unit. I mean, you really can see like it's a lot of men here that are in relationships in Thailand. White men, Indian men, black men, they all have like girlfriends here, man. You know,
that are from the Thai community.
Yeah, man. Like,
and how are those relationships looked at? Like when you're walking down the street with these ladies, and you know you're a black man. How do people perceive it?
You're not getting any like, because we're in a tourist. We're in the biggest tourist city in the world, basically. So when you here, you're not gonna get like any mean stares or any certain looks or any ill treatment. But maybe if you go to the countryside, I'm just assuming, you know, you might. But you know, as far as Pattaya, you don't get no bad treatment or anything like that out here. You'll be good. It's not looked at a certain way. You're a foreigner. At the end of the day, you're a foreigner. You're not from here. You're a foreign. They call it foreign, so you're a foreigner. Whether you're black, white, Indian, you're not from here. You're not Thai. You're not Asian. So you're going to be a foreigner regardless. So she has a foreign husband. She has a foreign boyfriend. It is what it is. You know, you're still contributing to their community to a certain degree because you're taking care of a woman.
Right. Okay.
So
no, I definitely understand. And well, guys, listen, Brother BMT, he is the truth, man. I want you guys to go check him out. The first company in the top, brother. Let them know why they should subscribe to Black Males Travels YouTube channel, brother.
I mean, we're in an informative channel. You know, we like to give guys, you know, news, different information to help them and assist them on their travels around the world. You know, when you're a black man, your travel is going to be unique to any other people, basically. You know, when your presence is different, let's put it to you that way, in most cases. So you want to hear, you know, travel reports and travel news from other black men to kind of see, you know, what their experiences was in that said country that you might want to visit. So that's the most important thing about Black Men Travel. Just informing a group of men that like to share information about their travels overseas.
All right, guys. Well, I definitely thank you for coming in, and shout out to everybody. Make sure you check him out. The first comment pinned to the top, guys. And as you know, we're out.